finished. It was meant to be a short one, but it is quite a long video again, over 20 minutes. If you want to skip to the end and see how I got from a dirty old bass guitar with that scratch pick guard on it to this one, which is far prettier, skip to this time code now. Other than that, I go through a whole load of things in this video, from cleaning the fretboard, lots of different chemicals, products, the conclusion of which, very simple, is use a razor blade and scrape away very carefully, then clean. Tried a different couple of things to smarten up frets when things are already set up. Make your own choice there, to be perfectly honest. Pickup, it's a Seymour Duncan in there, it's very nice. Wiring, you'll see what happens when you fast forward to the end. But anyway, that's that for this week. I'm going to the Northampton Guitar Show on Sunday. Stop me and say hi if you see me. I'm sure to be wearing a silly t-shirt, although I will be hungover. As it's my friend's stag do the night before in Northampton, which is why I'll be there, because I'm not travelling that night. Apart from that, great, and see you next week. I'll try and work out what I'm going to be doing then. Hopefully a bit of sleep before then, certainly. Take care. Ahoy hoy, Gavin here. Next project is this, which is Kramer Focus 420S bass. Late 80s, early 90s. Rather nicely made, actually, it's got to be said. I've been asked to do it up a bit, with some certain instructions. They don't want the action played with too much because they like it. And to be honest, it's rather good. So I will be doing very little with the action. What I can see immediately is that the frets in the fretboard are disgusting. And if we plug it in, clearly the electronics are also crappy. It's a two-tone body, so black with a nice sort of smoky yellow tobacco on the inside. Nothing we can do about the body colour. Neck needs a clean. One-ply pick guard, which I don't like, and quite obviously there is something very wrong with the electronics, certainly on the volume control. Looks like it's taken a fall. Probably won't change the bridge, but we'll have a look. So, two parts. One part changing all the electronics. Second part cleaning up and repairing the fretboard. So I've got a bunch of things to try out to clean the fretboard with. We've got fretboard cleaner, fret rubbers, sticky stuff remover, Murphy's Fantastic Oil Soap, lemon oil polish, razor blade, nail file, and this. Also got the electronics here, a new set of strings, and most importantly, nice new pickup. contrary to what I've read on the internet, it is not a plywood body. I think generously we could call it multi-laminate. What that means is that they've used a piece of timber on the top, a couple of millimetres thick, so it looks like a single piece. A piece on the back as well, but then made out of thinner planks. Lots of affordable guitars do that. Lots of all guitars do that. Most guitars you get are 1 and 2 piece, 2 or 3 piece bodies. Why? Well, a piece of timber that wide is going to cost a lot more than 2 pieces that wide. The pickups are kept in wonderfully with a little bit of foam underneath and screwed straight into the body. The electronics are absolutely basic. Very nasty looking pots. The output jack is, I've not seen one that cheap for a long time. So I think we'll replace the pickups and all the electronics. That's all it's needed to get rid of all those gunky marks. But always wipe off any excess afterwards because you don't want it on your body. Actually, or in my nose. It's horrible. Now the fretboard here is a bit scarred and nasty, but they particularly don't want a lot doing to it, just clearing it up. So I'm going to try 2 different things here and see which one works best. I've been recommended this for cleaning wood. Okay, well that's that. And compare and contrast, I guess, with Crimson. Okay, so I've tried the... Oh, still with us, good. Murphy's oil soap seems okay. Water it down, it's removed some stuff. The Crimson fretboard and finish cleaner has done a little bit more, but there's some bits in here that are really hard in, and you can see from the photo here and here. Clearly, actually, some of it is from before the frets were put in. Because it goes across the frets, but the frets aren't affected at all, and it's not been refretted ever. So it wasn't particularly nicely finished fretboard beforehand. Because some of these things are really quite ingrained, I'm going to use this, which is a Scotch-Brite ultralight pad, I don't know what it's called. Don't use wire wool, bits of steel get everywhere, get stuck to your pickups, stuck under your fingernails, get caught in the wood. it's not nice. But Scotch pads, very, very cheap once you buy enough of them. If things have really got quite grimy on your fretboard, so nobody's cleaned it like this one for 20 years, it's time to get a straight edge, nice razor blade, and carefully scrape, keeping it flat. Try not to move crossways like that because you will scratch the timber. Let's zoom in on that. Now, we might have removed a little bit of the top layer of timber there, but we have got rid of so much gunk and grime in that one compared to that one. Let's see what we can do here. Excellent. Clean that up a bit well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest of the fretboard and then give it another clean and then give it some life. My favourite thing is still toothbrush. Ahoy, Gavin back. Obviously a different day, different t-shirt. Things of note, a brush is really useful for getting rid of bits of dust and what have you, especially from near frets. Before we move on to the frets, I'm going to treat the fretboard itself. Now, there's a whole bunch of things out there. I've always used lemon oil polish. You can get it, Dunlop does little small jars of it. But if you look online, that's about the same price as one of those from your guitar shop. I'm going to do half the fretboard in this and half the fretboard in Fretboard Restorative from Crimson, and we can see if we can see the difference. Why not? Let's test it out and check it. Well, the important thing is that it's fed. I can't tell the difference at the moment, but we're far from finished with the fretboard yet. Let's take a break. Put up. I was asked not to fiddle about with the action because they had it quite nicely, and that's fair enough. Customer's right. However, the frets do need a bit of a clean-up, and so while I'm here, it's worth getting that sounds terrible. So get yourself one of these and try and find out where the high points are. Seems okay. What I'm looking for, if you don't know, is it to rock. So if there's one fret that's higher in the middle, it'll rock. So there. And I've forgotten the most important thing. Permanent marker. So we know that we've got a little bit there. Excellent, so that's done. Now, you also need to clean off, polish the frets a bit. There's a lot of ways of doing it. In the past, I would have used, quite honestly, when I had no money and I didn't read anything, I would have used one of these, which is a nail polisher. Very fine grit, as long as you don't use number 1. The pros are, that's £1. The cons are, it's not really that delicate, I don't think. Even if you start on number 4, it is a bit cushiony, and without a fret protector, or rather fingerboard protector, it's not up to much. Let's just do it on this one here. It's okay, it's getting some muck off there quite nicely, but it's not the most delicate, so probably don't. After that, I got Micro Mesh fret polishing kit. Relatively expensive. Great though, absolutely superb. So it comes with 2 fretboard protectors and 2 elastic bands, the idea being you pop it around your fret like that and it holds it in place, and then you work down these wonderfully soft, high numbered grit soft pads. So, I mean, they start at 1500. And you take them and you go like that. And 12,000. So it's taken a little while, but we've done that entire fret. Why bother with all of those? Well, when you're working with grits of anything, work through all the grits you've got. Never just go straight onto the final one, because you're going to muck things up. Has it made a difference? Right, well, what I'll do now is cut down, zoom in on the camera, you can make a call for it yourself. But actually, hello, I'm here, sorry, bad framing. What I am going to use though is something I haven't used before on frets. And you say, you're a Crimson Shield. I'm not. I haven't been paid to do this. I've never tried them properly on a guitar before, so I'm going to give them a go. Fret rubbers. Crimson sell them. Other people sell them too, I'm sure. Should have kept mine a little bit cleaner than that. 4 types. Coarse, medium, fine, super fine. They look like and act a bit like Inca razors. So, to be honest, let's see if they come up as shiny as that. Time for some sped up footage, I think. Alexa, play. Yeah. It is 7:30 on Friday morning. I've got to get this done quickly and finish off today. What I did off camera, unfortunately, was the wiring, so there's a nice picture of it here. The wonderful thing, of course, with wiring this is that it's all on the scratch plate, and I could take that away without having to bother about where everything lines up here. All I've got left to do is put the cleaned bridge back on with new bridge wire. Put some screws in and string it up. Time for a speed up bit, I think. Right, all done. Still a bit messy on the top of my desk here, but what do you reckon? Has it all worked? Well, what we've done is new pickups, clean the bridge, new scratch plate, new electronics. I've spent a lot of time on the fretboard and the frets, and I've got to say it's worthwhile. It's never looked this good. Neck's never felt this good. Please sound. Oh dear. Well, it works, and that's the important thing. If you've been clever and looked at what I was doing on this, on the volume control, turn it down, and it's loud, turn it up. So, I wired the volume control round the wrong way, which is quite bizarre, especially seeing as the tone control works correctly. So, okay, well, long story short, I'm still no good at wiring. I'll take that all apart and have another go at it. Okay, so final conclusions on this. I'll put it down, get it out of the way. Cleaning fretboards. My conclusions. That's the answer. Seems to work. Watered down. Seems to do something as well. But the majority of your gunk that you need to clean off, that's the answer. Everybody should own one of those to get rid of bits of rubbish. What about frets? Frets, the other answer was... fret rubbers or micro mesh fret polishing. These are easier and faster. Particularly the coarse one is essential, I think, especially when you've got slightly corroded frets. Really does a good job on them. If you want a high gloss finish on your frets, the micro mesh fret polishing kit goes to a far higher grain, if that's what you're after. For feeding your fretboard, lots of people tell me don't use this because it's... well, they've never really told me why not. I'll be honest, I've always used it and it smells nice. There are other finishing oils. Crimson do one, Dunlop do one as well. I can't see much of a difference between them. People say don't use this one, it's got artificial things in it. This smells very artificial. But there we go. Try them out and find out one that works for you. Certainly this is for rosewood and ebony boards only. Obviously with maple boards they're already covered in a bit of plastic on the top. Apart from that, toodle pip, and I'll see you next week when I will have done something else. Hopefully it's joining boards together and starting to shape. Ta-ra!